Alright, this is my review of the Ning Red Hare 9 Ultra. So, first off, I've heard some people say the red hare is after a rabbit. It's not after a rabbit. So, the red hare is actually in reference to a mythological horse in Chinese mythology. It is renowned for its incredible speed, endurance, and was considered one of the three treasures of China back in some of their legends. So it's a symbol of loyalty, speed, and supreme quality in Chinese historical lore. So that's just a little bit behind the naming convention. So for Li Ning, there are three levels of this shoe. They have the Red Hare, the Red Hare Pro, and then the Ultra. So for my reviews, I did not do the base level Red Hare. I do have the Red Hare 9 Pro right now getting mileage in it. Actually did 8 miles in that today. Have 63 miles in this for this review, and that was just because it came in before the Red Hare 9 Pro did. I ordered them at the same time. The plan was actually to do the Pro first and then step up into the Ultra, but Amazon had problems with shipment. It actually is still stuck in customs, the one I originally ordered, so I had to order a second pair to get the review in. But it is what it is. So some of the, my goal for this review, I consider this a super trainer, or at least a shoe that could be considered a super trainer. Now everybody kind of defines super trainers differently. So for me, just when I'm considering if a shoe is a super trainer, not that it really matters, is it a good shoe or not, but let's play the game, I guess. What I consider a super trainer would be something that's greater than max stack. I consider max stack to be 40 millimeters in the heel. So a shoe that is greater than that enhances my performance by providing either a mechanical enhancement through foam or through plating or through geometry or some mix of those three. And while it is a trainer, the shoe is also good enough to use on race day in some instances. For example, the first shoe I would consider a super trainer is the Super Blast OG, and that was a shoe that I used a lot for long run training, and then I also used it for half marathon and marathon races. So that's kind of how I view super trainers. I don't get too caught up in all that type of stuff. This would also fall into a light trainer category for me. So it's a versatile shoe, which we will get into. Ordering. So I did order this on Amazon. It is also available on AliExpress. It did take, I think, 6 to 7 weeks for me to get it through Amazon. Now I'm a size 12, so that is a challenge with Chinese shoes because not all brands carry size 12 in the first place, and some of the ones that do tend to run out of size 12s. So I think it was a supply issue, at least to the US. But it did finally get here, and I'm very glad it did. So I will get into the deets. So my size 12s came in weighing the left one 9.9 ounces, the right one 9.5. If I extrapolate that to a sample size 9, it's roughly 8.8 ounces. Since Chinese brands don't really give those details, I'm just extrapolating based on other shoes and kind of correlating that. But it's a lightweight trainer. In my book, lightweight trainers, if it's 10 ounces or under, or 10-ish ounces or under, it falls into that category for me. So the fact that this is greater than max and that lightweight is pretty impressive. From what I can find through ChatGPT, some other reviews, the heel stack looks to be between 46 and 48. I'm personally leaning towards 46, but that's just a pure feel guess. The drop is around 8 to 9 millimeter. To me, it feels pretty solid at 8 millimeter drop. So I'm going to go with 46 and the heel with an 8 millimeter drop. Feels pretty consistent to me with nice geometry underneath it. The upper is a boom silk engineered textile. Very nice and comfortable. The midsole is a triple layer construction. So it has a soft top layer, pressurized super boom capsule in the middle, and then a firmer bottom layer. We'll get into that a little bit further. It does have a shank, I think, somewhere in the middle, but it has no plate other than that. So just a shank for some torsion stability. The outsole is their GC unit outsole for superior anti-slip, wet grip, and wear resistance. And the MSRP for the one that I paid for on Amazon was $150. AliExpress I've seen down to $126. I've also seen up to $180. AliExpress is just that wavering price. For use cases, I have 63 miles on the shoes. I have on concrete, tarmac, some light trail, mainly in dry conditions. I do have some miles in wet conditions on concrete. I did 2 long runs, one of 15 miles, one of 20 miles, and then the majority of the other miles are between 7 and 9. I did varying pace to eat from easy to up tempo and some intermixed walking. So I feel like I've done a whole variety of runs on this, gotten a lot of miles in it. So I should be able to give you some pretty good feedback on this review. So let's get in. Next up, let's get in. Okay, the upper. To me, this is a very sharp looking shoe. Got a lot of comments on this shoe, both on Instagram, online, and in person. It definitely stands out. I really dig it. The laces are a nice strong lace. They don't have a grit on it, but they do have kind of a pattern on it, so it helps lock it down. Nothing exceptional about it, but they work very well. I had no problems with the laces. The tongue has some nice laser perforations here for breathability, which is nice because it's the overall breathability of the shoe is nice to begin with. The tongue is also fully gusseted, very lightly padded, but it does have a little bit of padding up here for the laces to come down over. I don't know if you can see that in the video, but it's a very nice tongue design and structure to it. It did awesome. The heel is lightly structured. Doesn't have a lot of give to it, but it's also not beefy. The collar has just the right amount of padding to it for me. I love about that amount of padding, especially for summer running. I just don't like the big beefy padding sometimes, but it is very comfortable. The heel is inset. You can kind of see it right here. So my heel seated in nicely. So between that, the laces, the tongue, great lockdown through here. The upper, it is nicely breathable. It had nice toe room. This fit true to size for me. So I've tried on 5 Li-Nings now, ran in 4 of them. I have significant miles in Li-Ning shoes. There are, according to Li-Ning, they run about a half size short on a lot of their shoes. I've heard some other reviewers say that, but they all fit true to size for me, and I've seen some other, let's say, day-to-day runners say it fit true size for them. So I'm not sure what's going on with the different feedback on the sizing, but for me, everything's fitting true to size within Li-Ning. And actually, I've got the Challenger 6 in. I haven't ran in it yet, but just trying it on size, it's probably slightly, not greatly long, but slightly long. So definitely not short. So I'm not sure why such the variety. I haven't noticed any real variation in quality within the shoes too. They seem to be very high quality repetitive shoes, so not sure what's going on there, but just for your information, it's just something to keep in mind. The one other thing about the upper is if you get this in some sunlight and then you take it into a dark room, there glows in the dark in here. I'll try to put a picture of it or a little video of it at this section, but just a really neat aspect of it, especially if you do night running or early morning running in the dark. Having that little glow feature, a little safety feature, or just nifty feature, pretty cool thing by Li-Ning. But yeah, fantastic upper. I pretty much love everything about it. I have no complaints on the upper. So next up, the outsole. Alright, so I continue to be impressed with the Chinese shoes outsole. I have 63 miles in this, and here I will even, this is the left shoe. This is the area that I just murder in a lot of shoes. I can't even tell I've ran in this. There's nothing worn. I am just really, really impressed with the durability of their outsoles. You are going to get above average durability out of this outsole. I have no doubts about that. If you do get less than average durability out of this, I'm not sure what happened, because I normally kill it shoes even when other people say there's good durability. This is fantastic so far. As far as on the run, it is sticky. It also, I like the way it just works with the shoe. It works organically with it, so it's not so thick, so it doesn't deaden. Not that you can probably deaden a whole lot of this foam because it's so thick, but it doesn't deaden the ride. Instead, it works with the foam to give just a great ride underfoot. So I'm so impressed by this, and this is a sticky outsole. I mean, so I listened to some of my video on the runs, back live with the sound up, and I can actually hear the stickiness on the run on concrete. I mean, it's an impressive outsole. And I had no rock traps in here or anything like that. Nothing but great things to say about the outsole, just like the upper. So next up, all right, the base layer of this midsole is a firmer PEBA base layer foam. And while it's a firmer PEBA, it still has some nice spring to it. But that is, of course, to give the shoe some structure to it. So you need that, or else it's going to be a very unstable shoe. The middle layer, so this silver, it's a super boom capsule, which basically acts as a spring mechanism underfoot. So you'll hear other runners say trampoline or jelly rebound about the feeling underneath this. I tend to use a pogo stick description. I don't know how else to say it, but underfoot, these three foams together with this in the middle, it acts like that. It's an awesome feeling. And then the top layer is a soft plush layer of foam. I'm going to assume it's also PEBA. It's just a softer blend of it. But I don't think I could confirm that or get it clarified. Maybe somebody, if you're reading this and you know if that's PEBA, you can make comments. But it's a very unique, and the midsole is really why I would call this a super trainer if you want to go back to that conversation. It's just a unique function. It's got high level foam in there. It's got a mechanical performance enhancement to it. It's something unique and above max stack. So along with the geometry, it has a nice rocker in the forefoot. Very nice toe off in this shoe. So on the run, I felt good landing anywhere. If I would make myself land forefoot, which isn't natural to me, felt great. If I landed flat, felt great. Just heel felt. This shoe, it just felt great, no matter what kind of strides or cadence or where I was landing. The feeling was just awesome. So the only negative I would say about the underfoot feel is if you're somebody who likes ground feel, you're not getting ground feel out of this shoe. But I would assume that if you are looking for ground feel in a shoe, you're not looking at this shoe in the first place. So nobody's going to look at this much foam and say, I want ground feel out of that. But the experience is just not like anything I have felt in any other shoe. It's just great. And I won't say this is a stable shoe, but I did not feel unstable in it either. So one of my favorite shoes from last year was the Mizuno Neozen OG. Just a fun, wild foam. Similar stack system to this, but it's just all one stack of foam. But it's a wild foam. I felt a little nervous taking corners in that because of how unstable the foam was underfoot, but just fun as heck to ride in. This actually felt fairly nimble underfoot. I didn't get the nervous feeling taking corners. Now, I would not do an obstacle course in it. Of course, you still have 46 millimeters stack underneath there, right? So it's still high. But it just felt more stable underneath foot than the Mizuno. So find that to be a very positive. Again, I just love some of the design aspects of the shoe. I just don't know how else to explain. So if we look at a load reduction, so energy savings, they've manufactured a shoe in the shoe design here that seems to give load reduction to the runner. And what I mean by that is that I've heard some other runners who've reviewed the shoe say similar things. And it's just that when you're running, you're expecting that you're at a certain pace, but you're actually running at a higher pace. And when you're done running at that higher pace and you get done with the run, your body also feels like it ran that slower pace. So it doesn't seem to be zapping the energy out of your muscles and your bodies underfoot and on the run. And just like a straight example of that, a lot of the runs that I do are on bayou paths, so we don't really have hills here in Houston. The inclines and declines that we have are normally going underneath street intersections and things like that, so that the trail will come up along the bayou in the street and then go underneath the street and then come back up. So if I hit one of my walking periods and I'm going down underneath the bridge that goes over this direction, and I'm getting ready to come up that hill, I try to go into a trot or run up the hill. Just put more pressure on the leg, get used to doing harder things during the run. So I'll walk down the hill instead of running down the hill. A lot of people will walk up the side. I try to reverse that. So on some of the normal daily trainers, the first couple of steps getting into that uphill, re-entry into the running pace, it's some ugh moments, right? It's like, the only ugh moment you have is when you go to take the step. As soon as your foot hits the ground on this, the spark of the midsole coming back and pogo sticking you, it shot me right into my trot. I was just thoroughly impressed by how this could get me right back into rhythm. Even when I was tired, like on the 20-mile run, the 15-mile run, I was still popping back into rhythm going up the hills. It was very quite impressive. I just cannot say enough about this midsole, and honestly, just the whole shoe. But this midsole, it's magic. I hope everybody will get a chance to run in this shoe. So on that note, okay, so some final thoughts. I honestly have a hard time comparing this shoe to any other shoe. I haven't ran in a Nike Vomero Premium. It has a similar, I guess, visual look to it because it has, the Nike has the AirPod in here, and this has the boom foam in here, the boom pod. So I guess a similar design idea, but the Vomero Premium is just so heavy and such a big looking shoe. I have no desire to run in that shoe. And this is under 10 ounces in a size 12. I mean, Nike hasn't come close to this. So it's not that. I do like the Vomero Plus. I gave that a good review. I have mostly good things to say about that shoe. So this is maybe kind of like that, but not really, because I feel like this is a little bit more stable underfoot. I like the upper better. It's lighter, so it's not really like that. It's kind of like the Neo Zen, but not really. So in today's market, Li Ning came out with a pretty unique design and shoe, in my opinion. And so just kudos to Li Ning. Honestly, so if you put out some of the new lineup of today of super trainers, like the Adidas Hyper Boost, Super Blast 3, Monster Hyper. Monster Hyper is the only one I've ran in, but those are all 210. Even the Mega Blast, let's go Mega Blast 2, 230. I think the Adidas is 200. I think the Monster Hyper is 220, something like that. 200 and above, right? 150. Let's just say this costs 200. You put all those shoes on the table, I'm picking this one up. This is the one I want. To be fair, I haven't ran any other two, but I know enough about the Super Blast lines that the third one came out softer. I've ran in the first one, had 500 plus miles in the first one. I would choose this over the first one, the Super Blast. It is a phenomenal shoe, and it's got a value proposition against those other shoes to begin with. It's a significant negative, right? The only negative I have on this shoe is the difficulty to attain the shoe. So you have to be patient. You might have to pay a little bit more than 150, but if you're comparing this to $200 shoes, you're still going to save money on AliExpress if you pay $170. It's still $30 less than the other super trainers. Would I pay $170 for this? Yes. It's a great shoe. So I know a lot of the other bigger reviewers have given reviews on this, and I don't know if I've seen anybody really say much negative about the shoe. Renersha, who's big into Chinese shoes too, maybe wasn't the biggest fan of the shoe to begin with, but now that he's getting more miles into it, it's becoming one of his staples. So I just don't have anything negative to say. At 63 miles in, I feel like I have a good feeling on the shoe. This will stay in my rotation when I'm done with all these reviews, because I just love the shoe, and I love the look of it. I mean, love the design, love the color, love the outsole. And the outsole doesn't squeak a whole lot in the office, but it is kind of bright to go to the office. But either way, I'm rambling now, so I'm going to close this up. So just a couple of closing comments. These shoes were not provided by Ning. We've used them myself, split money on all these shoes from the East reviews. So it's not a brand sponsored review. If you get a chance and you like my videos or you want more from me, give me a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. If you have any comments about anything, shoe related, running related, give me a comment. I do try to keep up with those as much as I can. I do have a job now that sends me out on travel, so sometimes it's hard for me to get these videos out on time. I get my written reviews on reviews out in a timely fashion, but sometimes YouTube falls behind, only because I have a limited amount of time to do this. I don't get paid for any of this. I don't receive any money from Instagram, from YouTube, from any of that. Reviews does help sponsor some reviews, so that is why I make sure they get the reviews on their site, because I don't get anything out of YouTube at this point in time, but I enjoy making the videos, and I hope some people get something out of my reviews. So on that note, I hope if you're interested in this shoe, I hope you get a chance to run in it, because I think it's an awesome shoe. Cheers.